Wrist pain with planks or push-ups is something that a lot of our clients deal with. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to fix it. Not a fix, but right from the get-go, a lot of people will modify. So they'll put their fist out and they'll push down like this. We actually want to fix the problem. So if you want to modify, that's okay, but it's indicative of something that's going on that's going to give you problems later on. So we want to go ahead and fix it. To be able to fix this problem, then we have to really understand the anatomy. And so I have this skeleton here, Billy Jimbo. So when we're looking at the wrist, what we need to think about is that we have these two bones, the radius and the ulna right here. And then here's the hand right here. So here's all the bones of the hand. So this is convex and this is concave. So when we are trying to do a mobilization, it's never as clean as this. We have extensor muscles on the back side of the wrist and the forearm. We have flexor muscles on the front side and they cross up here at the elbow. And so we're going to address, we have to address the muscles and we have to address joint capsules. So all of these joints, what the skeleton doesn't show is we have joint capsules wrapping around the elbow. We have a syndesmosis in between these two bones, and we have joint capsules all the way around at the wrist. And so if we lose range of motion, so we're not taking this up, so I'm able to get to here instead of here, then my joint capsule will actually tighten up, because if I don't use it, then I lose it. So my joint capsule tightens up, but then also the muscles on the front side are going to be tight, and then the muscles on the back side will be tight. It'll be like a band around the forearm. And so we want to address that three-dimensionally, but we also have to address the joint capsule, and that's where a lot of people with stretching, we're actually, when we overstretch, we're cramming the joint together and we're just causing more irritation. And when we get that irritation, we get more inflammation, and then we stop moving through that range of motion. So what we want to address first is our muscles. So we're going to loosen those up. The first way we want to roll that out, we want to loosen up this muscle on the forearm. And when we do that, we actually want to roll in areas in about an inch. We don't want to go that far, so because it's more difficult. What I do is get up against a wall. And so the easiest way to do it is get up against this wall, and then I'm going to put my lacrosse ball right here, and then I'm just going to glide my hand forward and stay within a 1-inch position. So I'm just gliding into those flexor muscles. I want to go all the way up to the elbow. You can do it where you're just doing this and kind of grinding out those muscles, but there's not much pressure right there. You want this to be a little bit uncomfortable. We want to break that up. So this is something, I had a musician. So the first time that I treated this from afar, I had a musician that was in Washington that was having this problem. He was a family member of one of our clients, and we went through this process, the things that I'm going to do in this video, and that's exactly how we did it. So I'm going to show you exactly how he fixed it, and he got better, 90% improvement. That 10% is how good are we at doing our exercises. When you're in the clinic, when somebody's actually treating it, we get in there and break up that tissue. We do dry needling. We're doing all the modalities that we can to really break up that tissue. So, but this is going to be effective, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So you got to be consistent with it, and we want to do it twice a day. So we spend about a minute on the forearm, working on the extensor muscles first. So when we're going into flexion or into extension like this, it's the flexors that are tight, but this is like a band. All those muscles cross each other and they touch on the edges. So we want to break up the muscle tissue on both sides. And when you're doing it consistently, you're working on different areas. So we want to be doing it consistently so we can get every nook and cranny of those muscles. So we just get them gliding around. We just want muscles to glide across each other. And so I'm going to get here right up at the elbow and I'm grinding. So I'll do about 5 swipes right there. And then I move it down a little bit more towards my wrist and I'm digging into it. And I use my other hand to put pressure on those extensors right there. And I'm going into flexion each time, so I'm lengthening those muscles. So I'm making the muscles glide while I'm gliding that lacrosse ball on it, going 1 inch at a time, and it takes me about 5 rounds of 5 to get down all the way through the arm. Second, I want to roll out my flexor. So I want to get to the muscles that are actually impeding that motion. So I got this book right here so I can have a hard surface. And so I'm going to get down right here and then I'm driving, always taking that opposite hand. It's easier to put pressure on the wall. This is actually a little bit difficult. I'm going to put my hand on top of it so I'm not gliding around all over the place so I can control it. You can also put your hand right here underneath so you can kind of control the ball, but I'm going up into extension while I dig through these muscles. So So I'm gonna go 1 inch right here at the elbow. If you have a lot of pain right here, then it's indicative that we actually have some tendonitis at the elbow. So be gentle on that. We're not trying to irritate that tissue. When we can get to the muscle belly, that's where we're gonna get the most change, is we wanna get to those muscle bellies and really grind into them, put a lot of pressure into it. So I'm putting pressure down into here. You can see the book kicking up. I'm gonna do 5 right there. 1 inch little glides right here, so you can see it. 1 inch little glides. It's rolling around, but I'm willing to deal with a little bit of that movement to be able to fix this from my own home. So I'm digging into it, just going into extension, doing 5 swipes all the way through. Now I've loosened up the extensor muscles all the way down. I've loosened up the flexor muscles all the way down. And now I have to do a joint mobilization. With a joint mobilization, it's really important that we hang loose with all of our muscles. So we really want to get into the joint capsule right here. So when we looked at that hand right here, we see that this is convex, this is concave. So to get extension, we have to actually glide that the opposite way. So we're gonna be pushing like this. So what I'm gonna do is rest my arm down on my thigh. This was a challenge doing this over video with my client. So once he got it right, it was really easy. We want to do it for about a minute. So I'm totally resting right here. I'm gonna grab right at these 2 bones. I'm gonna grab just underneath it, right? I'm gonna grab my wrist, get it with the meaty part of my hand right here, and then I'm gonna pull it down and I'm gonna do a scooping motion, pulling it out into the front of the wrist. So I'm resting my arm down right here, and then I'm gliding into that. So I'm holding this and just breathing and relaxing. I'm also thinking about what's happening with my left shoulder. See how I'm crimping it off like I'm gonna squash my head like a pimple? I don't wanna do that. So it's just a natural reaction. So I'm just aware of it. So I drive that shoulder down and I'm just putting pressure into it. And I wanna get to the point. So my wrist just clicked. So if you're feeling that, we don't wanna jangle it around and cause a bunch of compression in there in the joint, but we do wanna make sure we're getting that movement. So that clicking means that I'm actually getting it right where I need to. This is a very precise mobilization, and we do it, we hold it for about 2 minutes here in the clinic. We want to shorten that at home. So I'm just putting pressure down into this and then holding that pressure. So I'm scooping, my pinky and my ring finger are pulling up on the hand, and then the meat of my hand is pushing down, and I'm rotating like this. So I'm driving into it and just holding that, breathing and relaxing, getting that left shoulder down. You see how that creeped up on me again. And I'm just holding it, and I feel a stretch through the front of my wrist, and I feel it through my flexors, and I'm holding that for a minute. If you're having a problem on both sides, we always want to do both sides regardless, because there's probably a problem over there. But if we're having a problem on both sides, then we want to roll that out. But if you're having a problem on one side, that's better, because we want to shorten this into as small bites as possible, because we want minimal viable product. So I'm going to get on the other side, and you can see it if it's my left. So I'm grabbing right underneath these 2 bones and then driving down and just breathing and relaxing, keeping that right shoulder down. And I'm just holding that. I breathe and relax, and I do it for a minute. So why don't I do this? Why don't I just pull it back right there? So when I'm doing this stretch, I'm causing a lot of compression here in the joint because the joint capsule is too tight. So I'm stretching these muscles right here, but I'm actually causing irritation in my wrist. And when I cause that irritation, it's gonna cause me problems later on. So overstretching is something that we don't do with our clients. There's no reason to cause pain when we're doing this stuff. A lot of our clients, they'll come in, they say, I'm doing this stretch, I'm pushing against the wall, I do it every day and it just doesn't work. The problem is that we're causing inflammation at the same time, and that's going to cause more irritation. We're going to get a lot of molecules that come down there. They break up bad tissue, but they'll also break up good tissue, and it will cause more arthritis. The more arthritis, more irritation, and the more that joint capsule is going to tighten up, and if we don't use it, we lose it. So what we want to do is spend 6 weeks doing this routine, doing it twice a day, and not over pressuring. You can test it out, but I would modify during the time period that I'm doing this, and I would just work through normal exercises. We want to glide of those muscles, and we want to be working on our back. So we always want to redistribute the stress that our wrists have taken on, gain mobility right there, and then just do exercise in the gym and work on our grip strength. And doing isolated exercises for the forearm are not that important. If we're working on back exercises and working on chest exercises in the proximal part of the body, you're going to be able to fix this as long as you're consistent with doing the mobilizations and grinding out that muscle tissue, and then just getting natural length on a daily basis. When people have these issues, oftentimes they have problems that are related in the elbow and or the shoulder. So check out our videos that are related to golf. It's the same stuff. We all have a human body. So we'll see you in the next video. video. Get mobile and stay active.